Kasparas Jakucionis and Asa Newell, will they fit the Chicago Bulls present and or future if the Bulls decide to draft them at number 12? We're going to talk about that. Plus, Josh Giddey is back stateside. What does that mean for his offseason? We'll talk about it all and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Pat, how does it feel to be part of the best podcasting duo in the city of Chicago?
That's probably facts, actually. I mean, that's actually probably, I don't think we got comp. Who's comp? What is comp? The Chicago Sun-Times? Oh,
with that said, Kasparas Jakucionis, this is a player that me and you are both very familiar with as both being fans of Illinois. There are some mocks that have him going to the Bulls. I think Igor Dimin has kind of passed him up as the guard most mocked to go to the Bulls. But with that said, he is somebody that's worth talking about, I think, as a prospect here, even though the fit is a little bit questionable. We both have kind of questioned that. But Kasparas, if he ends up being the selection here by the Chicago Bulls, how do you feel about him?
Good job drafting P. Will again.
Wow.
He's bad. He's not good. He's not good. I'm not a fan of Yakachunas. Yakachunas literally shows up in none of the moments that you need him most. He is an inconsistent shooter at best. I think the conversation around his defense doesn't exist. I think that facilitating wise, he is a shot chucker and wants to put shots up. So, you know, if you're going to be a chucker, you better make them. No.
You shot chucker.
You mother chucker. Can we get away with that?
I think you get away with that. I mean, yeah.
You got away with worse.
Yes, I have. Oh, with that said, I look at Yakachunas and I mean, I'm not as hard on him as you are. He's 19. I do see like the passing there. I think he has really good basketball IQ when he's actually running the offense. I think a problem is that somebody told him once, you need to be a scorer, and he took that as meaning, oh, bet I need to get up every shot that I see. And that's not it. Like, he's better as a facilitator to me, better as a rebounder. He's basically better. I mean, not to say that he can't shoot. It's streaky, right? Like, and maybe you can get that to be a little bit more of a consistent thing. But it's like on this Bulls team specifically, and it would be different if we were reviewing these prospects just as prospect in of themselves.
Yeah.
And for the Bulls specifically, none of that is what we need. The playmaking, we got that covered in droves. Guards, we got that covered. We got tall guards, short guards, big guards, small guards. We got all the guards. And so Yakachunas doesn't bring anything to me that I look at and I'm like, he solves no need for the Bulls right now. Even if the Bulls were to say, let Kobe go or Josh Giddey go, I'm more focused on Igor Dimin at that point, if that's what they're going to do, than Yakachunas.
Let me just, because I don't want people to think I'm just being too hard on this guy. Biggest point of the season, right, is the Big Ten tournament and then the tournament. You get into the round of 64, right? Yakachunas. Now, if you're just looking at stats, you feel good, right? He had a 10-point game. Well, I guess not in that first. He had a 10-point game. He was 1 for 6 from the field, 1 for 4 from the three-point line. He had a 15-point game. I did have 10 rebounds in that game, but he had a 15-point game. He shot 4 for 10 from the field. He shot 1 for 3 from the three-point line. Literally never got himself going the entire game. I watched it. He was horrible. He actually was a detriment to the team multiple times. 16 points in that first tournament game. Oh, not a bad game. Yakachunas getting himself going. Nope. 3 for 11 from the field, 1 for 6 from the three-point line. Did get 9 free throws and did knock down his free throw attempts, went 9 for 9 from the free throw line. You're probably not getting those calls as a rookie, so I doubt that you're going to see Yakachunas spending a lot of time at the free throw line. Then he finished it out in the game that they lost, 13 points, had that previous game, by the way, he was a little more useful in that game. I give him his credit. He had 10 assists in that game. Then that next game, 13 points, He had 5 rebounds, 2 assists. You feel like he's getting himself going a little bit. 5 for 13 from the field, 2 for 9 from the 3-point line. In the 4 biggest games of the season, you had 1 good one.
Oh, you know, also something to say, in the 4 biggest games of the season, he had 6 turnovers in each one of those games. Well, I guess he did average 6 turnovers, but because he had, it wasn't like one game where he had
turnovers a game, you don't average it.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, in the sense of like maybe he had 8 turnovers in one game, 1 in the other. So like the average was bad. No, he 6 turnovers in every single game. He had more turnovers combined in those games than assists. That is a problem, right?
I'm so incredibly good on Yakachunas. It's not even funny.
Yeah, bro. Like, let me ask you this, just so we're not completely killing Yakachunas the whole time. What team do you think would fit Yakachunas better?
The Toronto Raptors, because they usually draft underperforming players.
And I think they also play a more European style of basketball, which I think would help Yakachunas quite considerably.
This might be personal. I ain't gonna lie to you. As an Illinois fan, I might be letting that bleed into it a little
personal.
bit. Does it feel a little personal?
It feels a little personal, but I mean,
I was all in on this kid coming into the season. I was very excited. I was like, this is the guy. This is the answer that Illinois needs. The scoring is there. The rebounding is there. He has great vision on the floor. And as the season went further and further on, I was like, oh, he does this kind of.
Yeah, I mean, at 19 years old, you're probably going to, you have time to work on the consistency, but it's like, I don't want to see that here. Like, and listen, I know it's with our luck, 5 years from now, somebody's going to pull this clip and be like, Haize, Pat, y'all weren't high on Yakachunas. He's averaging 16 and 10 in the league right now and leading the Raptors to the playoffs. And be like, I was cool on that. I'm fine. You know, some of you just got to be fine. If they work out, great. You got to be fine on like Carter Bryant. I'm fine on, he could very well work out. I'm fine on not finding out here.
I think for me, what it comes down to with Yakachunas is just that one, talking about the fit on this team, he's only good with the ball in his hands, like many of these guys are. Are you getting rid of Josh Giddey? That's where the fit is for him. The facilitating side of the ball is something that I guess you see pop up more times than not. So that would be the side where you kind of look at it and go, well, maybe this is the best case scenario for you to go out there and win games, right? But there's no, at 12, right, I'm not restructuring my roster to fit Kasparas Jakucionis, which is what you would have to do. I'm not restructuring or taking a chance on a guy that might be able to do it at the NBA level for a guy who we've seen do it at the NBA level. Like, and so that to me is just, the Yakachunas conversation is just that you can have the conversation, and this will be my response in every conversation. You play with that experiment if you want to. The Bulls can't afford to.
And the thing I think too is like, we are actually Illinois fans. So like, I watch, I'm not going to say every game. I missed some games this season, but just about probably 95% of his games I watch. And you correct me if I'm wrong, Pat, as somebody else who watches Illinois. It feels like all of his biggest games also came in losses, which is it's a huge red sign there for me as well.
All of his biggest games came in losses. All of his weakest games came against opponents that actually could fight back. That's truly how it feels. Like, literally, it's like, okay, big game coming up here. We need you to show out in this one. We got Kentucky coming in.
I'm good.
We know how to defend.
I'm good. Y'all got this.
You play. You want me to play? I wasn't coming out here to play basketball. And again, listen, I know this sounds completely like a jaded Illinois fan. It is from a jaded Illinois fan. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm jaded because he sucked.
Bro, because we both were excited about him coming into the season.
I was so excited about him. I thought he was going to be a dog. I'm not being mean or like doing this disingenuously. I'm jaded because he sucked.
You know, I read on the Ringer, right, one of the comps they had for him on the Ringer. Well, I'll be fair, I'll read all of them. Bogdanovich, I don't know why, because he's not the shooter. Spencer Dinwiddie, okay, I can see that a little bit. DeLon Wright, Brendan Podziemski, yeah.
That name
I always mispronounce his name. It ruins me every time. Podziemski. I saw Podziemski in the playoffs. That's what it felt like Yakachunas played like in big games last season. So I'm good on that.
I actually feel like Podziemski had a solid playoff games. Like, I don't think Yakachunas had a solid playoff game.
No,
really.
much like in the go look at the games that he had.
Is that a game by game thing with him?
Bro, I'm telling you, his solid games were literally like, oh, he scored 10 points in a win in which Jimmy Butler scored
they were
40.
Up 65.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, these last 5 ugly.
I'm just saying, bro, it was a little bit rough.
He got his butt kicked versus Minnesota. Jesus, he had one good game.
But as you can tell, me and Pat are down on Yakachunas being a member of the Chicago Bulls next season. You don't say. But we're going to continue the conversation on a player that maybe we're a little bit higher on, and that is in Asa Newell. But first, we got to get to a message from FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments, unless it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've just been down. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in games before the tip-off and live. Whether player props, performance trends, or same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Which players are showing up in the biggest moments, and how could tracking their trends help you build your next bet? That's what FanDuel helps you do. How could a $200 bonus in bonus bets add to the excitement if your first $5 bet hits? New to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. All right.
We're getting that right.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're getting that right.
Asa Newell, an interesting prospect because I see a lot of the defensive things that he brings that the Bulls need. Solid shot blocker, okay rebounder. I do think he brings the switchability defensively on paper that you look at, whether it's the 4 or the 5. There is some height concerns on being the 4, but I think this is like the draft of the 6'9" power forward centers. Like all the guys are all around 6'9". Yeah. But he's a player that has kind of dropped down a little bit after the combine. Now, there were some pro days and some one-on-ones in which I think he worked himself back up a little bit, but still right now looking at being right outside the lottery. So could be looked at as a reach if the Bulls were to draft him at 12. But Pat, how you feeling about Asa Newell?
What was his actual height at the combine? For some reason I don't got his numbers.
6'8.5", I believe.
Imagine it's 6'8.5". Oh, without shoes. Everything is without shoes. Yeah. So 6'10". The only concern for me, I think, is the weight. I think, which, I mean, listen, in the modern NBA, right, maybe that's not going to be a concern. If you add 15 pounds to him in the NBA with an NBA body, he's 230. That's a regular power forward in today's NBA. Mm-hmm. What I do like about Asa Newell, upside-wise, I think that he has – what I'll say about Asa Newell is this a bad comp, and don't even take this as a comp, but the player that it was. A Taj Gibson, high floor, low ceiling.
That's fair.
I think that who he is right now is probably maybe a little bit better NBA-wise, right? Last season, 15 points, 7 rebounds a game, a block a game, 54% around the field, around the rim, no three-point shot at all, and shot the free throw 74%. I think Asa Newell probably lives around that 15 to 18-point range in the NBA, which is a great asset. But then it goes back to the conversation that we've had previously, right? Do you feel like you've got your star player on your team? Because you still have to have that star-level player. I like Asa Newell's game. I like a lot of what he brings. I like it because I feel like you can throw Asa Newell into a game right now and just play your game, and he'll figure it out. He'll find his way into his shots, his position, good putbacks. He's got some really good rim protection. I think his finishing ability is one of the better ones in the draft for a little bit, I guess, of an undersized big, if you want to say that. But the big thing for me with Asa Newell is he going to be physical enough for the NBA and still be able to maintain his game? So I'm excited to see kind of what his future is going to be. But I think he kind of is who he is, which is not a bad player, which is, with those numbers in the modern league, you're playing for 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, and I think the thing that kind of could push him, not the height, because 6'9", and it was 6'9" barefoot, so 6'10" with shoes, right? So I don't even know if it's necessarily the height that's going to stop him from being able to play center at the next level. The wingspan may, under 7 foot wingspan. Usually if you're around 6'9", 6'10", you want to see a 7'2" wingspan. Yep. So he's a little bit under 7 foot. So maybe that's a little bit of concern there, but he is a more athletic player. So maybe you can get away with it. Daniel Gafford's been perfectly fine with similar measurements. So there you go there. With Asa, the thing that I'm concerned about, like you said, is the physicality part of it. The athletics, all the other things are there. And it's who's above him. I kind of trust more with similar limitations, but I trust him to hit it more. Like Thomas Sorber, much more well-rounded post player offensively, all those type of things, while still having defense. Maybe not the athletic player that Asa Newell is, but a way better shot blocker on the timing, longer wingspan. Rasheer Fleming's another guy I kind of would put a little bit above Asa Newell as well. But it's not that I would hate if the Bulls drafted him. It's just that you're gonna, to your point, don't expect the high ceiling of some of these other guys. You'd be better on the fact that this guy does have a very high floor with still a ceiling that he can develop a little bit more on, but you'd be betting on, hey, at least we're getting this. And I'm not necessarily mad at that. I just know that there's going to leave a chance for guys that then are drafted after him for it to be better than Asa Newell potentially.
You want to know what, though? I'll say this. Coming out of a draft, knowing a player is going to be good would be nice. It would be so nice.
That's very true.
Like I feel very confident that Asa Newell's game is going to translate to the NBA level. Coming out of a draft, having a player that is, hey man, his rookie year, I expect 12-8.
Yeah.
His second year, I'm expecting 15-9. His third year, he should be up to about 17 to 18 points and at least 10 rebounds. Like he should be like it would be so incredibly nice to be able to go out there and say, we got a player that is good. Doesn't mean there may not be players drafted after you. Doesn't mean there may not be players that end up being better or that you didn't want to take a chance on because they had a low ceiling, or I'm sorry, not a low ceiling, because they had you wanted to take a chance on that superstar potential, which I do think is something you need. But the big thing for me with Asa Newell is he's going to walk in and just be able to go, okay, what do I need to do? I need to rotate over for Kobe if his man beats him. That I can get in that spot. Do I need to step out on the point guard at times? I can do that a little bit. Don't leave me out here too low.
Yeah,
but I can do it a little bit.
And I think there's a nice symmetry with him and Modest Buzelis and their skill sets too. And Asa Newell too. Like I wouldn't bet on it, but there have been some talks about his mechanics and even in the drills. I think he did really good on the 3-point shooting drills. Is that if he can develop a 3-point shot? Not that I want him to become a heavy 3-point shooter, but if he can become a 3-point shot with his ability to be a lob threat and then come out on the pick and pop out to the 3-point line, if he's able to do that. I mean, offensively, that's going to open up a lot for him. So I like the balance between him and Modest Buzelis potentially, even if Asa ends up being a 4, not a 5. I think that could be a really good duo and 1-2 punch at that those positions for you. So, like I said, I like Asa. I like him a lot. Yeah. And there is something to be said of don't get caught up too much in the ceiling. Let's get a guy, to your point, that you know is going to be good and that has that high floor, and you know pretty much exactly what he's going to be in the NBA.
So the player I described, right? 18 points, about 10 rebounds a game. What, you give him block and a half, 2 blocks a game, probably at the NBA level. I think he'll have that kind of ability. Would y'all like Evan Mobley? Now their measurables are very different. Yeah. But just that stat and to the point that you just made.
If he turns out to be Jarrett Allen, I'm fine with that.
Oh yeah, Jarrett Allen is. I guess he is probably similar height to Jarrett Allen.
Yeah, I think he has a longer wingspan. I think he has the 7'3",
Jarrett Allen got like a
wingspan.
7'7" wingspan.
Yeah, Jarrett Allen definitely scratches his kneecaps while he's standing straight up.
Standing up, bro. I don't know how often you see that happen in life, but every time I've seen it,
that's how I know he's going to be tall, bro. He's 11 and he's like 5'4" already.
Hey, bro. I hope, bro, because I have seen people that was like their kids was like that, and I see them kids now, and I'm like,
then they don't hit that second growth spurt.
You ain't get that other growth spurt, huh? But you can still scratch that knee while standing up. I hope your son gets some unquestionable height. But no, to your point on shooting, right? What took Mobley's game from 15 to 18 points a game and a consistent 18 to 20 point per game shooter? He started knocking down, taking 3 3-pointers a game, knocking down 37% up. You get to add 3-3-pointers to your game, and that's a slow build. It's going to take time. It took him about 4 seasons to become efficient at the 3-point shot. That's a player that I think you can go out there and win a lot of games with.
Yeah, and he is a winner too. Like Asa Newell is a player too that I think he to a counterpoint to what we talked about with Yakachunas is that he steps up when the lights are brightest more times than not, and he is somebody that's going to say, "All right, bet, what do you need me to do? You need me to go out there and play some offense?
Yeah.
Oh, you need me to go out there and lock somebody up? Bet, okay, I won't worry about the offense. I'll focus on defense today." He does have that mentality, which I think is a lot to be said about a player as young as what Asa Newell is.
Don't he, and I may be misremembering this, but doesn't he have the probably the most controversial shot of the tournament? Wasn't he the one that did the one-legged sidestep? Oh, no, that was Derek Queen.
Yeah, that was Derek Queen.
That was Derek Queen. Never mind.
Yeah, when you start going through a fine-tooth comb with Derek Queen, like I said before, Derek Queen's one of those guys where he may never, when you're picking things apart, on paper look good, but when you watch him play the game of basketball against 5 other people, he looks damn good, right? So. Yeah, that's it's what it is. This is like some people in school don't test well, but they kill it at everything else.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've had so many people try and tell me that like Derek Queen is just like he's not that guy, bro. Like it's not gonna translate. I'm just like, do y'all watch him play? Well, he don't have the measurables. He puts the ball up over the people with the measurables and it goes in the basket. That's the goal. Like, what are we talking about right now?
It's silly, man. It's silly. But next up, we're going to be talking about Josh Giddey. He is back stateside. What could that mean? We're going to talk about it all right after this. All right, Pat, before we get up out of here, Josh Giddey is in Los Angeles. He flew back. I think he landed back early this morning or late last night, depending on how you want to look at it. There's a couple of reasons why I think this is important for Josh Giddey to come back. The draft is 32 days away, and free agency starts now 4 or 5 days after the draft. You could start negotiating with your own free agents, a couple of days before that. So I do think Josh Giddey, between the mix of meeting with his agent, working out, of course, doing the things that this is an important offseason for Giddey to be stateside to get ready for those things. Then I also think there's probably the personal side of it. His boys are probably about to be in the NBA Finals, and I think he's going to want to show up to some finals game to support his former teammates and on the OKC Thunder. How you feel, Pat?
Yeah, listen, after watching last night's game, I think it's almost a guarantee. I hope Minnesota fights back. I feel like we're at a pivotal point in basketball where if Shea wins the MVP and the NBA championship, he's going to become the face of the league, and he flops so much. I need Ant to get in there and like create some toughness, or the Knicks beat the heck out of him.
And by the way, hold on, because I got a bone to pick with some of these people, right? I stay out of the GOAT conversation because I don't want to get into arguments. You people, and I do mean you people, that try to say that Jordan flopped because you went and looked at Jordan's free throw numbers, and then you try to compare. They use adjusted for pace to say, oh, well, Jordan adjusted for pace has the same number of free throw attempts as Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. You effing nerds, go and watch some tape. If you think Michael Jordan flopped, you're stupid.
Yeah, no. Michael Jordan didn't flop. Now, when you're the best player in the league, you get the benefit of some calls. Right?
That's true. That's true. That's very true.
Look, unless you're Jokic. Jokic.
Bro, it's because he's big. It's because he's big, bro. Because I've seen people literally try to beat Jokic up, and it's like just because he wrestles bears, it doesn't really do much to him. But come on, man.
Bro, Jokic looked like when you play, like, remember playing pool basketball?
That's funny.
Like how you come out and it's just like a scratch from like here that like you got cut across the front with a blade. Like, yeah, that's how Jokic looks at the end of every game. But no, listen, I'm glad that Giddey's back. I do think it probably means a little something more for the OKC possibly being in the finals than it does for contract talks just yet, because that would be logical by AK, and we don't deal in logic here in this front office. Hopefully this is something where the Bulls get this done early, because I think going into the draft not knowing what your future is with Josh Giddey is a bad situation.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Take best player available. But if the best player available is useless because Josh Giddey is your starting point guard, that's not a good situation for you to be in. If literally this dude is really good because the ball is in his hands in college and you draft him and then immediately take the ball out of his hands, that's not a good position for you to be in. So know what your team is going to look like. I hope that they do get this thing done quickly if they are going to bring Giddey back.
Yeah. I mean, no fuss, no frills. Just get it done and move forward with your team. I think that's the most important thing here. Like, because we got a lot of decisions, and Josh Giddey is such a unique player in this play style that if you're not moving forward with Josh Giddey, it does considerably change the way that you play basketball compared to last year. It's not as simple as just fitting in somebody and they can replicate what Josh Giddey did or did not do. So, I hope that it gets done fairly quickly. I think that, Josh Giddey and his agency is going to know what he wants. I think the Bulls are going to know what they're willing to pay. At least I hope so, because listen, you got major contract decisions in back-to-back off seasons, and they all have to fit together between Giddey this year, Kobe and Io next year, Dalen Terry's too. But
come on, why you have to do that today like that? We know. He's probably getting extended for $90 million. He's probably.
Listen, if they bring Dalen Terry back, cool.
I won't be mad. I won't be mad if they bring Dalen Terry back.
Because he's still young. He's starting to show that he's on the court. But if it's $90 million, y'all make sure y'all stay in tune for that. I'm not even going to allude to it. Y'all just make sure that live stream, y'all make sure y'all tuned in. That's all.
Hey, what was that video of us? If one of y'all say some silly man, y'all are going to feel my wrath. Now, how much you going to pay Dalen Terry? $90 million.
Oh, man, that's just the world that we live in now, Pat. Man, any last words before we get up out of here?
Oh, nah, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. I got to zoom this camera back out. I feel like there's a lot of face in this one. I appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. Follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Y'all stay safe out there, man.
Y'all can follow me at CEO Haize. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choosing, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Fubo TV, and more. Anywhere you want us, you can get it. We'll see you guys on the next
That was wild. Peace. You can get it.
You can get it.
Jesus. Am I getting paid at least?